Step into the world of power, loyalty, and luck.
I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse.
With family, cannolis, and spins mean everything.
Now, you wanna get mixed up in the family business.
Introducing The Godfather at ChumbaCasino.com. Test your luck in the shadowy world of The Godfather slot.
Someday, I will call upon you to do a service for me.
Play The Godfather now at ChumbaCasino.com.
Welcome to the family.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
The following podcast is brought to you exclusively by the Rad Rob Radio Network.
Welcome to Straight Up 5 with Johnny Petraglia Jr. This podcast is hard-hitting, in-depth, cutting-edge look into the sport of bowling. You will get unfettered access into the mind of one of the most gifted bowlers of this generation, who just happens to be the son of a living legend. So, without further ado, let's introduce you to the host of the show, Rad Rob Francois, Dr. Ocho, and the incomparable Johnny Petraglia Jr.
Hey guys, welcome back to Straight Up 5. This is episode number 9. I am your host, Rad Rob Francois. I hope everybody's doing well all around the world, and thank you for being here. As always, I'm joined by my co-host, the sexiest man in the world. He's also a great bowler, but he's not showing it right now. We're going to get into that here in our first segment, but I always like to bring on my good friend, Johnny Petraglia Jr. JP, what's going on, buddy?
Always a pleasure to be here, Rad Rob. Yeah, the continued problems with my league bowling has gotten the best of me, and I feel the need to, I guess, find the good things in it, because right now I'm really struggling mentally, and it's not a good place. So I want to make sure I touch a little bit on that tonight. And as always, to all the viewers, thanks for being here, and looking forward to a great show. As
am I. So let's not waste any time. Let's jump right into it.
You son of a bitch.
What?
You son of a bitch. What the frig is going on here?
What'd I do?
What do you okay, well, let's jump right into it, except let's not let anybody know who the freaking star of the show is, who's right here.
I already did. I introduced JP.
Son of a bitch. You son of a bitch. You know what? Maybe they're here for him, but when you get a little sprinkle of Ocho on you, you know, the rash never goes away.
Are you done?
No, I'm not done. Matter of fact, I want to know if anybody noticed that it says, welcome to the Rad Rob Radio Network. Is your name Rad Rob, like Radical?
I didn't do that. So, I mean, like
Rad Rob. So now we can change your tagline on Twitter to Rad now. Now I'm done.
Are you sure?
Continue with this show. No, I'm not sure, but for right this second, you better move on.
God, I'm
here too.
You're a little hostile tonight, dude. What's going
on? We're done with show Ocho, so now it's just back to the freaking grind.
That punch looks good.
Oh, look, it's electrolytes, man.
Of course. Amino acid blend.
Remember old carbo power drinks? You know, don't be ashamed of carbs. Except, you know, at this time of night, you shouldn't have any. So
I use a good carb supplement for intra-workout. You'll have to try it. He's out of Philadelphia. It's called Demo Day by Axon.
Oh, I thought he was going to say it's Tyrone on the side of the street or something.
No.
Got my hook up. All right, let's get into what's going on in Johnny Jr.'s mind in this week's edition of Petraglia Unplugged.
It's now time for Petraglia Unplugged. We never know what Johnny is going to say, so if you have small humans around, you may want to have them leave the room. We'll wait. No, really. We literally have no idea what Junior will say. Great, thanks. Here is Petraglia Unplugged.
Ocho, hold on, Ocho. Why'd you stop the music so soon?
I did a software drop in the wrong spot, I guess.
God damn it. Sorry, Johnny. That's, this show already. Johnny, what's on your mind, buddy?
You know, we recently talked about confidence playing a huge factor in bowling. We had mentioned Tom Hess winning back-to-back majors on the senior tour. And my confidence level in the sport of bowling is at an all-time low right now. And I felt the need to actually address the importance of the brain in this sport, and how if your brain is thinking properly, that's the only way you can get everything to actually go correctly. So I'm going on, let's say, just over a month of league bowling back up again. And again, I'm not going to be the first to admit that I've finally gone through some physical changes with my training routine in the gym that have, for lack of a better way of explaining it, my body doesn't do what it used to. All those things that my dad told me growing up about how if you lift too heavy, you won't have the flexibility that you have. It's why baseball pitchers are lean. It's why golfers are long for their swings. And same thing is true in bowling. But I don't care, because I want to look sexy naked.
Damn, we look good, man. That's the issue, buddy. Damn, we look good.
Yeah. So what I'm noticing is both me and Ocho prefer to lift upper body over lower body. And what's happening is my lower body used to be the strongest part of my game, and now what's happening is now my upper body is. So I'm losing leverage in my lower half, not deliberately, but what it's causing is my spine to drastically tilt forward at the foul line. And anybody that knows this sport, or actually doesn't know this sport, if you're tipped too far forward at the foul line, there's no way for the ball to stay on line. There's no way to get it through the front part of the lane to the desired break point. And there's also no way to produce any consistency in angles to the pocket. And basically what that means is somebody, even of my stature in the sport, you can only throw so many four-baggers, but that one errant shot that pops up, it turns into a 6'2" frame. And 2 4-baggers and 2 6'2s is still only 220. Now, if you don't have those 4-baggers, now you're looking at 190. So for somebody like me who should be going out and shooting 690, 700 every week, lately I'm having a hard time shooting 640. And fortunately, my teammate is nice enough to film a lot of my shots throughout the nights, and I'm seeing all these things happen. He's actually filmed me throw some shots that I felt were some of the best shots I've thrown all year, all season long. And when I watch them in the video, I look like it's an effort at the foul line because I'm not in the right spot. And my hand is in a different spot every time. And this kind of ties in with the brain, because had I not seen this, had I not been aware of this, I wouldn't even know what to go out and practice the next time I go out to the bowling lanes. So anybody will tell you, and anybody knows, the more your spine tilts forward, the higher your backswing is. So that creates a much more steep plane going down towards the foul line rather than out over it. And what's happened is exactly that to me. My swing has become way too steep, and I'm trying to make too many magical things happen in a very short span of range of my game. So the big thought on my mind is that I wanted to basically make everybody aware that you're not alone when you're hitting these struggles out on the lanes. But be aware that it doesn't matter how good you are, how naturally talented you are, you're always going to be left in the dust to the guy who's working a little bit harder than you. One guy I'm going to use as an example is my friend George Gohagan III. A lot of people in the bowling world know who George is because he's one of the best bowlers in the world. He's only bowled a little bit part-time on the tour, but as far as amateur status, he's about as good as it gets. And I watch him bowl league every Tuesday and Thursday, and I see the mentality he walks into the bowling alley with. He's got a shirt on that says #KillSeason. Like, he's there to make money. He's there to bowl numbers. He gets angry enough at himself when he makes bad shots because he doesn't expect to. He's always in the right frame of mind when he's on the lanes. And it's all because he's completely devoted to his craft. So I guess my point, my end all of the story here is, if you want to be great in this sport, be willing to put forth what it takes, just like anything else in life. We know that things won are sweeter than things earned, but in this sport, you gotta earn them. There's too much talent out there. So overanalyze your own game, look for little intricacies, look for little things that throw you off, and you'll be a lot better off going forward than worrying about elements that are out of your control.
So for
quick elaboration then for you, so you're looking at your mechanics, you're going to try to stay a little flatter with the arm swing and get a little more deep with the bend of the knee, so you're not as tilted forward. Like, you're not going to bend so far, so you're not about to spike the ball. You're going to try and make sure that you're a little more is that what you were saying before? I'm trying to follow you because you're saying you're tilted forward, which means your backswing is too high, which means you're probably not bending your knee enough. So you want to get a better knee bend towards the line and stay a little more upright, which again might feel uncomfortable for you at first again, since you haven't done it in a while.
Right. My goal is exactly that. I want, at the completion of my slide, I want my chin to be directly above my slide knee, or a half an inch in front of it, or have the continuation that it moves a half inch in front of it as I release the ball. What's happening now is my head's a little bit too far in front of my knee, to the point where it's almost over my big toe. So it's taking everything that I want to hit down lane, and it's making everything happen 5 feet sooner.
You're pulling closer, basically.
Exactly. So then, in turn, I feel like I have to try and throw it harder, which is where the upper body overpowering the lower body is causing issues, because I'm trying to.
And now you're off target. Yep.
Exactly.
When I bowl my girlfriend, she every time I released, I want to see her chin just right below my balls too. So we have the same mechanical issue.
Yeah, that's always a great spot.
Have you tried slowing down your approach?
Slowing it down, speeding it up, anything to feel what I want to feel, I try. And anybody that's a feel player, or if you just, when you get a feel of something and you subconsciously know what's right. Like, I'll throw shots and I'll say that wasn't right. And then I'll throw a shot and I'll say that was right. And then I just try and do the right one again. I look for the tiniest little things that are going to force my brain to try and repeat the good shot, and then analyze the bad ones like I just described, and then work on those from there. And that's
got to be when you're dialed in, though, because like you just said before, you said you thought you pierced a few, but then you saw mechanically like, oh, geez, maybe it came off my hand good. Maybe I was still balanced, but for your mechanics, you were still tilted forward and, steep at the line or something. So exactly. You almost have to start big and then fine tune, I guess, if you fall into this kind of rut. Ocho never does. So don't worry about me.
I was going to say, you probably can't even relate to this because you don't have slumps.
This is like Greek to me.
Can I ask a stupid question, Johnny?
Yes.
Have you thought about maybe putting your thumb back in the ball and just kind of get back to basics?
Fuck no.
Okay, that's fair.
All right.
The reason I stopped using my thumb was because no matter what I've ever done, and people will call me nuts for this, my thumb always hurts. I love to squeeze it. I squeeze it so hard, that's why I'm so clean out of it. Mm-hmm. Because if I don't completely release my hand at the bottom of the swing, I'll go down the lane with the ball. But then again, if my thumb hole's too tight, it's not comfortable. So I used to load up tape, and I would just blow up calluses all over my thumb.
You'd Mark Roth it, basically, wedging, screwing that bad boy in there, trying to just make sure it was snug.
Yeah, exactly. And the physical pain was so bad. And then when I would go bowl tournaments, like say I would come out to Vegas when I didn't live here, and I'd come out and I'd bowl the true amateur tournament, the high roller, the what was the other, the mini eliminator a while back. I'm in my mid-20s, and I'm out drinking until 2 a.m, and I'm not eating. And now I'm going out to bowl a 7 or 8 a.m. squad the next day. I probably smashed In-N-Out burger at midnight. My hand's 3 sizes too big, and it's tender, and I have no mobility because I'm still drunk the next morning. So I was never physically in a good spot when I used my thumb. I was always a worthless, messy piece of shit. So that probably didn't help the thumb either.
So that's one thing.
Kingpin, when he's like, I've never been surrounded by such amazing athletes, and here comes JP Jr. stinking like a freaking whiskey distillery.
Well, that's one thing I didn't think about is by taking your thumb out, you're completely avoiding all that. You don't have to worry about your thumb swelling up, your thumb, shrinking, depending on the season, and you don't have to use tape. You're saving money on that for sure. You don't have to worry about
the sprinkler system and having to pay for the freaking water damage.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about anything. Just put your 2 fingers in the ball and cup it and roll it. So, yeah. Why would you want to put your
bags? I bring a chamois, my bowling shoes, and my hand. That's all I need.
That's what Ojo brings too.
Mm-hmm.
And the 7 balls that were given to him.
That's right.
Nothing, Ouch. You're not even going
What am I supposed to say?
You're not even going to sell that. No, that's fine.
Nothing. Well, because it was factual. It was all factual. I don't buy shit. It's given to me, and I appreciate it. Thank everybody for giving me their bowling balls.
You're welcome.
On that note, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to get into your questions in Johnny's Pro Shop. We'll be right back.
Hello, it is Ryan, and I was on a flight the other day playing one of my favorite social spin slot games on ChumbaCasino.com. I looked over at the person sitting next to me, and you know what they were doing? They were also playing Chumba Casino. Everybody's loving having fun with it. Chumba Casino is home to hundreds of casino-style games that you can play for free anytime, anywhere. So sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com to claim your free welcome bonus. That's ChumbaCasino.com and live the Chumba life.
Sponsored by Chumba Casino. No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
Welcome back to Straight Up 5.
Time to dig into your questions, which we love, by the way. I mean, even Ocho's not getting any. Johnny loves answering your questions. What are you drinking tonight, Ocho?
It's like a Gatorade mix.
Why?
Dude,
usually you're drinking water and, Fireball.
Well, listen, sometimes you got to put the fire out.
Excuse me. Sorry. God, you have to get so hot on me, pal.
I don't like you
on
that
fire
much.
tonight.
He didn't even fucking introduce me. Like, I'm supposed to be cool with this?
He's very cranky tonight.
SpaghettiOs.
For those of you that aren't watching.
I don't get it. I don't understand what he means.
Me neither.
Let's get into your questions here in Johnny's Pro Shop.
Welcome to Johnny's Pro Shop. This is the place to learn from one of the best. Johnny Jr. will answer any questions you may have about all things bowling. So come in, feel free to look around, and JP Jr. will help you improve your game.
All right, let's get rolling here in the mailbag. This one comes from Bobby in Phoenix, Arizona. He writes, "Hey, Johnny, you've mentioned golf a lot on the show. What's your handicap?"
I think I'm about an 8 or a 9. I play 100% legit every time I play golf. The only time I ever pick up a putt is if it's given to me, and when people give me longer putts, I still putt it, and if I miss it, I add the stroke. But I would say I'm about an 8. I'm relatively consistent off the tee. I'm a decent putter, and I'm very good from 100 in. I like most amateur golfers, I struggle with the longer irons, the 210-yard shots, things along those lines. But I'm about an 8.
Now
is a pretty safe number.
Mechanics-wise, let's kind of circle back to what we were talking about before. Have your mechanics changed since you've started your workout routine and your body has changed?
Yes, my golf swing, I feel like now I could do anything with a golf club. Mm-hmm. It's so crazy because one of the reasons I really started weightlifting, this is true. I want you guys to understand that this is true. Brooks Koepka, when Nike came out with the blade collar, those shirts, the one, mm-hmm. With the 2 buttons, Brooks Koepka would wear those shirts and he would fill out the arms in those shirts.
Dude, they were hugging the sleeve. His guns were hugging the sleeves, as the gym bros would say.
Exactly. Then I would watch him walk up the fairway with the sun shining in like a hot day, and I would just see the cuts in his arms in this beautiful Nike blade collar golf shirt. So I went and I tried one on, and at the time I was losing all my weight. So I was about 175 pounds at the time, and it fit really, really good on me. It made my shoulders look more pronounced, and it cut in at my midsection. And over time, I said, if I keep lifting, I can look like Brooks Koepka in this shirt. And then it got to a point that I got bigger than Brooks. So I don't even know what the main point here was. But
minus the majors that Brooks Koepka won, by the way. But
and then the bank account.
But no, the golf swing, the mechanics of your golf swing.
The golf swing, yeah. So what's good is I've always had good mechanics in everything I've done. So my golf swing's always been good, but now it's a lot better. If anything, my larger frame has actually allowed me to lower my swing plane. My backswing used to go pretty up, like almost like a John Daly. Like it was really close to my ear, almost baseball swingish. Since I've started weightlifting, I can get around my core a lot easier, and my back, as it's gotten wider, helps drag me around my core. So basically, my movement has become more limited, but it's tighter and it's all working together.
And you're using your bigger muscles now too. You're uncoiling is what you're doing. So it's letting all the big muscles do the work.
So out here, where the air is way thinner than back east, the golf balls travel a lot further. So what I noticed was I used to hit my tee shots, I would say anywhere from 240 to 260. And, I'm talking about flying at 240 to 260. And now I'm flying them 275 to 280. So that in it, with the same effort with the swing, if I really want to crank one, I can hit it further than that. But that changed everything because it eliminates all those 200-yard shots.
Yeah. And
it just, now I can hit driver 8-iron, driver wedge. And
how good are you from 40 out though?
I'm good in.
All right. When you said 100 in, I don't know if you meant like just a full swing at 100 or even at a freaking 35-yarder with a freaking chili dipper, freaking 60 degree or something like that.
I'm good. Shot. I'm good around the greens. I'm like 1/100th of Phil Mickelson around the greens.
That's pretty good, actually.
And the bank account as well, too, right?
No, I'm not even close.
1 million.
Phil
Mickelson.
Yeah. Phil Mickelson has lost more gambling in probably one weekend in Vegas than I've earned in my life.
True, that's fair. Thank you, Bobby, for your question. This comes from Dave, also in Phoenix, Arizona. I have old equipment like Rad Rock. Ocho, what are you laughing at?
That's great.
Dear JP Jr., I have old equipment like Rad Rob. I don't bowl enough to put more money into it. For league purposes, can I make it work? I have a Red Excalibur, a Gyro Pro, a Purple Rhino Pro, and a Danger Zone.
That's a nice bag.
Actually, it is. Back in 1995.
I'm kind of jealous of that bag. Keep one thing in mind with that bag. One more time. We said the Wine Excalibur,
the Red Excalibur, Gyro Pro, a Purple Rhino Pro, and a Danger Zone.
Shaved or unshaven?
Pro is the green one.
Yep.
And a Danger Zone. So the newest ball in that batch of 4 is a Danger Zone.
Yep.
So the newest ball is 1994. We're almost at 20 years. 17. The problem with those 4 bowling balls is the technology is so close to one another. Mm-hmm. The Excalibur was the first resin bowling ball, 1992. If you ever go watch the 1992 AC Delco Classic, that's the year that Mark McDowell, that was the first time anybody had ever seen a resin bowling ball on the lanes. And when you watch what Mark McDowell was doing with an Excalibur on that show compared to Chris Warren throwing a powder blue hammer, that's when you knew something was changing in the sport of bowling. The Gyro Pro was the ball that Brian Goebel shot 296 against Norm Duke on TV at the 94 True Value Open a week before Dad's 300. The Purple Rhino Pro is another 1992 bowling ball. Again, reactive urethane at that time. Wasn't true resin yet. And then the fourth one, the Danger Zone Power Coil 17 cover stock, that big spherical cord. The Danger Zone was one of the best-selling balls of all time. The problem is they're all kind of the same in today's market. Mm-hmm. So you can effectively bowl league with those 4 bowling balls, but I highly advise putting different surfaces on each of them. Because the whole goal is to get the balls to hook at different lengths of lane. So if you have your Gyro Pro really, really dull, and then you have a ball that hooks early. If you put the Purple Rhino Pro super duper shiny, then you go to the bowling alley and it's hooking and you have a ball for that. Your big money ball would be your Danger Zone, so I'd make sure I resurface that one and put it back to its original box finish. And then you could basically do whatever you wanted with the Excalibur. Again, they're all not going to be that much different in motion. They're going to cover about the same range of boards. So with an arsenal like that, your goal is to figure out how far away from you want it to change direction.
Now,
and I'm still very impressed by that bag.
Yeah, it really is nice. Obviously, it does matter if they're left-handed or right-handed. How many righties in their league, how many lefties in their league, depending on how the oil gets eaten up as time goes on. But just based on how you describe those balls, that's a pretty good starting point for him to go with and hopefully improve on his game. Dude, I'm a fan of the old stuff.
With all the talk of a box and bag and balls, should we start an OnlyFans or something? Like, is that possible? Because maybe we could really make some money on this shit.
I mean, Johnny looks good naked. So
I am individual by myself, but like I want a group effort because apparently only fans are starting to string down on that on the group stuff.
Yeah,
let's do it.
Marketing, man,
it can't hurt. No, it's all about marketing. You know me, I'm all about the old stuff. I still got my forest green Quantum, my teal Rhino Pro, and
yeah, we know in every show you say it.
That horrible swamp monster that you fucking hate.
Yeah, which is the newest of the 7 balls that we've just mentioned. Sick.
But yeah, no, I am looking to get the new Quantums when they come out. Put some money into those.
I just received mine.
You mean the 1996 Quantums or something? Is that what you're waiting on?
No, it's a new release. They're re-releasing the Quantums. There's 2 of them.
Yeah, Quantum Evo. There's a solid and pearl.
Yeah. So you did receive one already?
I received mine. Yes, I'm going to actually get them drilled before I bolt tomorrow.
Nice.
I've been throwing my Hammer Obsession Tour the last few weeks, but I need a little bit more pearl in my cover so I can get it a smidge further down the lane, and that Evo Pearl might be the ball to do that.
So you stopped throwing plastic?
Yeah, plastic is not working in the regular bowling alley, or I'm just not working with it right now. Plastic and urethane, I can't get them to go through the pins this year.
Interesting. That's
I don't know if it's residue from the USBC tournament being held there, but what's happening is the lanes go through a very wacky transitional period on both sides of the lanes about midway game 2, early game 2, and then they just completely disappear for about 6 frames.
Really?
And the guys that don't see the transition, whack them, but the guys that do, you see 250, 180, 250. I mean, it's nuts what's going on. So I've migrated way in. I'm trying to use more of the hold than I am the bounce. In other words, I'm trying to miss in rather than out, because if you miss out too quick, and
it dives back too quick, Ren, right?
So
if the hold for the amateurs, the real amateurs, the hold is what he's saying. I think is the oil carry down, or the what is it, carry down? No, what's it called? Whatever. When the oil comes
carry down. Yeah.
And then and the bounce is outside of that, where it's super dry, where it hits friction and then literally just flips like a top and just rolls in the pot, hopefully in the pocket, but obviously steep, or the angle's different, or it gives you a washout or something. But anyway, that's what he was saying. Look, I'm here to dummy it down for people like Rob.
Are they changing the oil patterns? Are they not oiling? Are they oiling early in the day and not before league? Because, I mean, our league would typically, they'd oil about a half hour before and nobody else would touch it. What's going on?
South Point's always been pretty consistent with their oiling structure, and they really cater to bowlers well over there. It's one of the reasons why the best bowlers in this valley bowl at South Point. But no, I think it's residue of the fact that for the last 6 months, it was nothing but the USBC event there. I think the quarantine had a lot to do with it, and no leagues being active with a lot of open play.
Yeah.
So all of that residue sits in a bowling alley, especially a second floor bowling alley with a restaurant underneath. So I guess topography gets altered a little bit easier when situations like that occur. Whereas if you go to a regular mom and pop bowling alley that has the same Phoenix machine from 1980 and they do the lanes the same 2 times every day while they dust the approach with the buffer, that bowling alley, each lane will have its own tendency, but it will always be a lot more consistent. When you're constantly changing oil machines, oil patterns, and putting it over the same beds and not stripping each lane twice to ensure that all the residue from the previous oil is gone, that's when this stuff happens.
Yeah, Bradley Bowl was like that. They'd have the really old machine. They would do it twice a day. They'd take the line and duster out, and they would take care of the lanes that way. But yeah, it was always pretty consistent, pretty old school. But I haven't bowled any newer centers. I've never seen any different oil patterns. I've been basically throwing on the same shit for the last 30 years. Even down south, the centers that we have are fairly old. So when I watch them oil, it's pretty much the same thing. They don't have any newfangled equipment, anything like that. So that's completely foreign to me.
Foreign.
It's foreign. I actually heard a New Yorker say foreign the other day.
Ugly just saying it.
Yeah, no, I know. Our third question comes from Matt in El Paso, Texas. Dear Johnny, I've driven around and seen so many bowling alleys shut down all over the South. Then I see these damn places with all the cyber bowling and laser tag and all that. Why doesn't the PBA or USBC get involved and try to get some more true centers back for tournaments and leagues? Why don't they put pressure on some of the owners?
That's a fantastic question. And
We kind of touched on this a month ago, but not into detail. But like it was almost like a hodgepodge of us bullshitting, really.
Well, I don't think we ever got to the point like why don't the USBC or the PBA kind of strong arm some of these owners that want to go a different route and be the entertainment venue? Because, like we said, you're not building a new crop for the PBA, really. I mean, if anybody wants to become a pro, you'd have to bowl leagues and tournaments and work your way up. As these centers go by the wayside, you would think the PBA and USBC would put some money into some of these bowling centers to kind of keep them going if they're struggling.
Do they have the money to put into
it? I don't know. That's why I'm asking the question. I don't know. I'm speculating.
I don't know the answer. This is a tricky one for me because I know that Bolero AMF, they're catering to a completely different demographic. They could care less about competitive bowling.
Right.
And whether they say it or not, they project it by what they do. So that's one way to view it, is that they think they're going to make their cash cow by appealing to the younger generation who could give a fuck less about professional bowling. Let's be honest. People don't even know what bowling is anymore. Yeah. They just don't watch it. There's too many other things to watch, too many things that they can do with their day other than sit around waiting for the live hour-and-a-half show with 3 fucking matches on Fox on Sunday against football. So I think that, and the mom and pop places are dying, because people want what's new, and the mom and pop places can't afford to keep their centers updated. They can't keep them modern enough. Think about all the old bowling alleys with the old school signs. I like it. I like dungeons. I like the feel of a bowling center.
Absolutely.
But people don't.
Yeah.
I like the feel of a grungy gym, but people don't. I like playing the par 3 course up the street from my house. I don't need to go play Bally High, but people do. So I just still have never really understood the idea of making a bowling alley a ritzy place to go where shots are $15 and shoe rental is $9.
Yeah.
But I also don't think the PBA is in a position to tell the USBC or tell Bolero to stop doing that when Bolero owns most of the bowling alleys in the United States now.
Mm-hmm.
It's unproven at this point, though. That's the thing. So I guess Bolero's even sticking their own neck out to wonder we may have egg on our face in 5 years or 8 years or something, 6 to 8 years maybe. Who knows?
It's one of the oldest sports, and it's a great recreational game to play.
So is bocce, but nobody fucking does that.
It's fair. Kind of like bowling is on the level of billiards now. You know what I mean? Like it just dropped that far down.
Yeah.
When it was comparable to golf, or way back
at one point,
in the 70s, like it was.
You're exactly right. It's so crazy.
As far as the tour stops go and everything.
Yeah.
Sorry, Oach. I didn't mean to cut you off.
Go, man, go.
It's so crazy because when I used to watch bowling, say even on ESPN, then they would go into the pool matches. I would watch Jeanette Lee and Allison Fisher and Karen Corr. I loved watching it.
Who's the spider woman? What's the spider with
Jeanette Lee?
Yeah.
Oh, that's her.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And I would remember looking at the crowd and saying, oh my God, there's only 80 people in there watching them. I know the pool table's small, but nobody's into pool, huh? These are the best pool players in the world, and it's $20,000 for first place. Ew, right? And now I watch the shows today, and I'm like, that's what our crowds look like when they have the World Series of Bowling out here in Vegas.
Oh, Jesus.
They build special bowling lanes in South Point in a private room, and it's free because they can't sell a ticket. People don't want to come watch, and it's still a fucking empty.
A freaking 50-person capacity or something like that.
Yeah, and the prize funds, again, gone down. And again, they were better this year. I'm talking about a specific period there. But yeah.
But I mean, you're looking at back in the day, the fucking Joe Louis Arena in Detroit. I mean, they put bowling in these arenas and small arenas and medium-sized arenas and get about 5,000 people there, 8,000 people. I mean, it was early 90s. It was a huge thing.
Erie Civic Center got 7,200 fans. They did it at Harper College, Joe Louis Arena. They did it a couple other places. Rutgers Athletic Center for my dad's event in 96.
Yep.
But they would always get anywhere from 4,000 to 7,500 fans at each event. And the shows were fantastic to watch also.
I know one of their last-ditch efforts was Miller Park, I think, where the Brewers play.
Yep.
and it looked great, but then literally right after that, it seemed to tank. I don't know. It was like 06 maybe ish.
Yeah, well, they had it in Miller Park the year that Danny Wiseman won the Masters and then Rash won the Masters. But even then, they had a huge crowd.
Oh, huge! I wonder if they spent so much. Yeah, right.
Yeah,
I wonder if they spent so much on it, and that like watching with binoculars or something at a football game. So I didn't know if that was something that they just tried to sink everything in, and then. But I do remember that specifically, and I was like, well. Look, they're on to something, but can they maintain? And I guess the answer is there.
I mean, is it really because the ABC dropped the PBA? I mean, was that like a death blow to them, pretty much?
It certainly seems like it could have been a contributing factor.
Yeah.
Didn't help.
The stability,
really. Yeah,
of course. And the fact, they toured 36 cities throughout the course of the year. You actually gained fans across the entire U.S.
True.
And it was literally called the tour. That's why it was called I'm on tour. We're going on tour. It was like a concert.
The Petraglia Open months before the Johnny Petraglia Open. The kids pro-ams, the celebrity pro-ams, the venue itself. People just wanted to be there.
Yep.
Every week there were lines to get into the show at that tournament.
I don't understand it. We'll never see the heyday of it again. But I just hope, everything is cyclical. I just really hope somehow it comes around again and there's a new generation that sparks an interest like, oh, what's this? You know what I mean? And I don't know. It's unfortunate. I mean, I don't think it's completely dead, but it certainly seems to be heading that way because, like you said, Bolero doesn't want to cater to, your hardcore bowler. Which is unfortunate.
If they did better than the year prior, besides the quarantine, then maybe it's not, and maybe it can grow. So let's not call it out for a freaking DOA just yet. But the decline's been in, much like pro wrestling for the last 20 years or so.
True. No, that's true. It's not just bowling. There's a lot of culture changes too. But anyway, thank you everybody for your questions. Keep sending them in to Straight Up 5. That's Straight Up FIVE. straightup5@gmail.com. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll get into our final segment with some straight shooting. We'll be right back.
How to have fun anytime, anywhere. Step 1, go to ChumbaCasino.com.
ChumbaCasino.com. Got it.
Step 2, collect your welcome bonus.
Come to Papa welcome bonus.
Step 3, play hundreds of casino-style games for free.
That's a lot of games. All for free?
Step 4, unleash your excitement.
Woohoo!
Chumba Casino has been delivering thrills for over a decade. So claim your free welcome bonus now and live the Chumba life. Visit ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
Welcome back to Straight Up 5.
We're going to take a deep dive back into what's going on with your leagues, Ocho and Johnny. Let's get into some straight shooting.
It's time for Straight Shooting. Johnny Jr. and the boys sit around, tell stories, and hopefully teach everyone some life lessons. Nothing is off limits. They let it all hang out. Get ready for some straight shooting.
So I really look forward to this segment because you guys suck right now. So you're kind of on my level. So,
you swallow. We just suck.
No, that's
so
fair.
Let's not change that.
That's fair.
I thought you were doing well. You suck too now?
190-ish. I mean...
No, I meant Ocho. You suck too.
Oh, Ocho. No, Ocho does suck, yes.
Luckily, there's only a 10-pin drop-off as far as league goes, but I'm already back home.
Yeah, let's start with you, Ocho. What's going on?
You know what I realized? I'm okay with bowling a 178 if I have to throw 3 in the 10th to win, because that still feels better than shooting a 227 and losing or shooting a 240 and losing. I'm just a winner. So sometimes I'll have to make it exciting for myself, much like, tanking a few games. Not that I would ever do that, but no, I'm just fighting with my hand a little bit because my hand is usually on so many different balls and boobs and whatnot. So the thumb swells. We know that. I'm actually, I had 2 sucky weeks and I had 2 badass weeks. So I'm all right. I'm back in the game.
That reminds me of the old line from White Men Can't Jump. You want to look good first. You want to look good first and win second. But no, you actually you want to win, so you don't mind.
Look, if you shoot 178, and it's all right. Picture it like this: Remember in Revenge of the Nerds when Ogre beat that chick in arm wrestling? And like he's struggling so bad. And then finally he wins and he's like, yeah. And then he starts crying. That's what I'm like. So if I got to beat a 145 average by throwing 3 in the 10th to shoot because we're giving up 78 pins or 120 pins,
right?
I still feel good about it. And then I'll cry afterwards, but I'm okay with it.
Well, how are your teammates doing?
Not good.
Well, what are you averaging right now?
212 right now.
Dude, you're what, 4 pins off last year. That's not, what are you crying about?
Well, because I went down so much, but I shot a 690 last week. So that.
Oh, well, shit. No, well, fuck, you're doing great then. You're actually bowling better than Johnny. Johnny,
no, I'm not. He shoots 700 for freaking shits and giggles.
Johnny, you did mention the first segment, but what are you averaging right now in your league?
Right now in my Tuesday league, because this was the first week that we were established, I'm 217. And that's because I shot 755 last week. That's how bad I'm bowling on Tuesday.
I only have 3 series better than that in my life.
In your life, yeah.
But I bowled 755, and we've bowled 4 weeks.
Oh, so you were averaging like 122, basically.
I was like maybe 201.
Yeah. Wow.
Before last week.
Is there the 10-pin drop off for you guys too?
No. And then on Thursday, my best set, we bowled 4 games. My best set is 850.
Wow.
So what's that? Yeah. I'm averaging maybe 212 on Thursday.
Yeah. How many you've got how many 800s in a 3-game squad in your life? What, probably 10 or 15 maybe, or more than that?
800s?
Yeah.
I have, I think, 78 or 80.
God damn.
70 to 80.
In a 3-game squad, and yet in 4 games, your best is 850.
Yeah. That's how bad I'm bowling this year.
Wow. Ocho, are you still drinking when you're bowling?
I have to. We drink. I'm hydrated, man. You have to drink your liquids to stay hydrated.
Well, I know Johnny Sr. used to give you shit for drinking all night. And when you get to the third game, you're completely shitty.
That's because he liked to do research, and he was like, "Man, I found out. Your average in the first game is like 238. Did you know that?" And I was like, "Why would I know that? How would I know that?" And it turns out there's like this stat sheet or something. And I was like, okay. And he's like, and you notice your second game is 2-0 or 208 or something. And I was like, oh, great. He's like, your last game, you're averaging 178. And I said, I didn't know that. Thanks for telling me. He's like, I said, so what's your point? He's like, oh, I'm just pointing out the obvious. And I said, you know what? The more pins I see, the more I'm going to hit. That's the way I look at it. If there's 30 pins out there, I'll shoot a freaking 420 in one game.
So are you still...
You want to know what's fucked up about my dad? And what you should go back at him with is...
Well, I know he wouldn't start till the third game. That was his thing.
My dad's first game average is probably 210.
Oh, so when he has his final...
His second game average is about 220, and his third game average is about 250. Want to know why? Because the wine finally kicks in. The wine kicks in about halfway through game 2, and he finally relaxes and gets into dead stroke.
That's hilarious.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and he's so high-strung and he's so anxious that until he gets that release, he gets better as he gets
if you're even keeled, look, when you're too tight, you know what happens? You overthrow, like, dude, see?
Yeah.
Maybe there is an art to this.
But if you're blitzed, dude, by the end of the third game, I mean, you're fucked.
No, it's hard to even. Well, again, we bowled with some freaking ham and eggers too that didn't throw as many strikes as Johnny Sr. and I.
So the games will take longer when you drink more.
Yeah. So, and honest truth, I was the second highest average on the team by a lot.
Okay.
I wasn't close to the first highest because I believe he averaged 234.
Yeah.
Something kind of respectable, and I was second highest by a lot.
So let me break this down. Like, I want to know your regimen on a bowling night. Walk us through your routine.
Me or him?
Ocho. Well, we'll do both, but we'll start with you, Ocho.
My routine? All right. Well, he saw it week 1. I got there, went to the bar, talked to him for a while. They said, hey, it's practice time. I said, oh, shit, let me get my shoes on. I haven't thrown a ball since May. And then came out of the blocks with a 237, and then I screwed up after that. But that was my, pregame routine. Oh, and I stretched maybe for like 18 seconds.
16, 18. Is that what you do on a weekly basis? Just the same thing? Do you mix it up, or you just kind of?
No,
because I mean you're a creature of habit. I know. So
yeah, no, I don't get there late or anything. I get there at 6:00, and I think practice starts at 6:15 ish. I get a hydration beverage for my nephew and myself. Our other partner has his own hydration system. So, and then shoes and the one ball I think I want to use that night. And if it feels okay on my hand, that's what I use because the damn shot is wide open. It's wide open.
But then you've told me like a couple of weeks this year, you've fucked with yourself and your head and you've changed balls for no reason.
Because I'll leave 2 flat 10s and go, damn it, I got to do something. Instead of moving a board left or moving up on the approach, freaking a smidgen or something like that, I'm like, it's the arrow. It ain't the Indian. Can't be my fault.
Johnny, what about you? I know you don't drink anymore, so your regimen has probably changed, but what do you do on game day to get prepared, and what's your routine?
Well, I bowl Tuesdays and Thursdays, and what I learned is, because I train 7 days a week, I do a body part a day, and I have found that when I train my backside, my triceps, my back, my lower back,
ass,
strings, my ass, I always bowl better. So I train back on Tuesdays and I train triceps and hamstrings on Thursdays. And I only partially do hamstrings on Thursdays, but predominantly I save my back on bowling days as opposed to doing, say, chest, biceps, or shoulders, which makes the effort of the arm swing a lot tougher as opposed to the back being full of blood and helping to be less effortless up top. But my routine is I work from 7 to 3. I come home, I heat up some food that I prepped the night before. I eat, I mix my pre-workout drink, change into my gym clothes. I'm in the gym by 3:45. I'm out by 4:45. I come home, I shower, I eat again, and then I go to the bowling alley with about a half hour to stretch my legs and put my shoes on. It's really, really boring, but it's kept me. You know, my old routine was, okay, I'm done working at 3:30. Let's go to the Grandview Lounge and play Keno for 3 hours and drink approximately 15 shots of tequila.
Yeah.
And then around 6:55, go upstairs, put on my shoes, order a shot in the bar, get to practice with like 7 of the 10 minutes left, throw 4 shots, go have a cigarette, have another shot, and then start bowling.
Shoot 300 with a plastic ball that was on
and
the
I would do that
house
Tuesday,
rack.
Wednesday, and Thursday, and then wonder why I thought I was dying after 7 years.
So let's piggyback off what we were talking about in the first segment. What do we have to do to get you back in the zone, to get back in line, to fix your mechanics? Do you have a game?
He's got to lose his freaking gains is what he's got to do. That ain't going to happen, buddy.
Which is obvious. But do you have a game? Do you have a game plan of how you're going to correct everything?
My game plan is really simple. I don't have one. I don't have any real desire to bowl anything competitive right now. I do have the opportunity with a sponsor to go out and bowl. Mm-hmm. But like I said, I kind of like the stability of my life now. I like the structure of it. So what I will do is I'll keep studying my game. I've always been a really, really – I have a very observant eye. I see everything. So when I watch things, I can usually mimic things very, very well. And the more videos I watch of myself compared to like when I watch old videos of when I was bowling my best, I can always find something that I know I'm not doing or something I may have done in the past to correct something. And that's usually my best way to at least keep my head stable because I'm such an emotional wreck because I expect to bowl 250 every game.
Right.
I'm good.
Maybe there's an adaptation that you're going to like almost discover for somebody who's so tapered, who's, you know, dialed in at the waist and wide at the freaking lats and the shoulders. Like maybe you're going to find a new mechanical thing that actually keeps you on the whatever the fuck it's called or how you're freaking you want to release the ball the same.
Yeah.
So like, which because I like your dad said, it kind of goes against what lats are like the enemy of bowlers. So, but I can.
Everybody told me when I was 14 years old bowling JBTs that bowling with no thumb was idiotic too. I mean,
so that's what I'm saying. So you're ahead of the game. You might have a new mechanical freaking style that looks might be a freaking look like you're playing hopscotch on the damn approach.
That's true.
Yeah,
maybe you need to
come out because it's a way you have to do it differently.
Yeah,
and
maybe
that's the next
maybe
step,
you need to break away from what you know and try new stuff. Try 4-step. Try 5-step. 6-step. Try mix it up, try something new, think outside the box, kind of get out of your comfort zone with your new body, and maybe, like Ocho said, become a fucking Terminator. Just create your own style and just fucking kill it.
Like when the stack and tilt swing came in from golf, when the stack and tilt swing came in, like everybody, oh, it's wrong. You're on top of yourself. But sure enough, how many people won tourneys like that?
Remember I told you how good I am inside 100 yards? That swing is why.
The stack and tilt.
All the years of being told to turn away and get your belt buckle here and all
get
that.
Behind the ball and load behind
and now
the ball.
I can literally do this and just lean into it.
Steep and pop, buddy.
Yeah, I have no problem hitting this shit out of earth with my golf swing. And that's exactly what
you're putting in hot tubs with those divots, probably. That's beautiful. I like that.
Absolutely. And it's beautiful. I mean, it works. So I'll figure out something. I'm not really trying to grow that much more. I mean, I'm 220 now. So and if I get to 230, okay, but I'm not going to get much bigger than that. I'm like I said, I'm comfortable around 210. So as the summer months roll around, I'll trim back up and I'll probably start bowling well again.
Yeah.
I was way more lean when I shot 2000 at Nationals this year, and that was in end of July or June. Yeah. So, I mean, I was 20 pounds lighter then, and everything felt good for those 2 days. So it's still there, but depending on what size I am, I'm going to have to be aware of it next time I'm on the lanes. Like, hey, man, you can't stand on 25 anymore and look at 15. Now you got to stand on 30 and look at 15 because the ball's in the same spot. It's just your width is different,
Yeah, absolutely.
You're so wide, you're going to be standing on lane 25 looking at lane 15 pretty soon, trying to freaking get around that damn ball.
I'm telling you, just loft it. Appreciate you guys being here. That wraps up the show for this week. We have a huge surprise for next week. I might as well let the cat out of the bag right now. I've been looking forward to this, since we started this project. The one and only, the living legend, Johnny Petraglia Sr. will be on next week. We're going to do a watch-along of his 300 game and get into some stories from JP Sr. that people, probably haven't heard about publicly. I don't know how much he wants to tell, but I mean, I'm sure he's got a lot of interesting stories to tell. So we're going to get unplugged with the senior. And I'm really looking forward to that. Ocho,
are you guys going to be like all nice and calm when he's on this show, or are you going to be your normal
You're asking
self?
me? I'm like,
I don't know if I can handle you.
I'm his life coach.
I mean,
you have to. Please don't change a thing. I need this.
I'm a fanboy, so I don't know. I might just mark out and be a little fangirl, but we'll see what happens.
JP Jr. needs normalcy for this next week's show.
I think this is going to be great. I'm really looking forward. I haven't shot the shit with my dad in a long time too, and to tell you the truth, living on the other side of the country, it's going to be nice to catch up with him. So and talk about his craft. It's been a while, so I'm looking forward to it.
Ocho, tell them where they can find you.
Where's my shit again, Rob?
You can find Ocho on Twitter at the Dr. Ocho, and that's about it. Johnny Jr. is still not on Twitter, but we are working on that, as well as our OnlyFans account. OnlyFans.com/JP Jr.
JP Jr. Yep, we already have the freaking the freaking URL.
As always, you can send us an email to straightup5 FIVE straightup5@gmail.com. We enjoy your questions, so please keep sending them in. Any questions or any comments or feedback for the show is welcome too. You can leave us a 5-star review on iTunes. We would greatly appreciate that as well. Until then, guys, we appreciate your support. We'll be right back here with another edition of Straight Up 5 with Johnny Petraglia Jr. and Sr. and the Ocho next week. Take care, guys.
Later.
Thanks for listening to Straight Up 5. If you would like to send your questions into Johnny Jr., send us an email at straightup5@gmail.com. That's straight up FIVE@gmail.com. We'll see you next time for another edition of Straight Up 5 right here on the Rad Rob Radio Network.
Hello, it is Ryan, and I was on a flight the other day playing one of my favorite social spin slot games on ChumbaCasino.com. I looked over at the person sitting next to me, and you know what they were doing? They were also playing Chumba Casino. Everybody's loving having fun with it. Chumba Casino is home to hundreds of casino-style games that you can play for free anytime, anywhere. So sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com to claim your free welcome bonus. That's ChumbaCasino.com and live the Chumba life.
Sponsored by Chumba Casino.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.